Took a job cleaning up exorcisms. Yeah, you heard that right. Not houses, not crime scenes. Exorcisms. I was scraping the bottom of the barrel back then, fresh out of a string of dead-end gigs. Credit cards maxed. Sleeping in my truck most of the time. I was scrolling through some sketchy job board at 3 a.m. because the regular ones wanted references and background checks I couldn't fake anymore. That's when I saw it. Specialized cleanup crew needed. Biohazard experience a plus. Discretion required. Pays cash same day. Call after midnight. It sounded like bullshit, but the pay was triple what I'd make flipping burgers. I called. A gravelly voice on the other end didn't ask for my resume. He just asked if I was squeamish. I laughed and told him I'd cleaned up after my buddy's bachelor party puke fest. He gave me an address for the next night and hung up. I showed up at this nondescript warehouse on the edge of town, the kind of place that looks like it used to make something legal before the economy tanked. Inside, it smelled like bleach and old incense. The guy waiting for me was named Frank. Big, bald, tattoos peeking out his sleeves that looked like they belonged in a medieval church. No small talk. He handed me a duffel bag full of gloves, coveralls, respirators, and these weird blacklight flashlights. He laid down the rules. Rule 1, I don't talk about what I see. Rule 2, if something moves that shouldn't, I call him before poking it. Rule 3, never take anything home, not even a souvenir. He asked if I understood. I nodded like an idiot. He tossed me a wad of cash for the first job and we rolled out in his van. The first house was a starter. Suburbia, white picket fence, the whole deal. The family had cleared out after the priest left. Frank unlocked the door and the smell hit me. Rotten eggs mixed with copper, like someone cooked sulfur in pennies. He told me it was a standard possession. Kid got into some online occult crap. Priest yanked it out. It was my job to make it look like nothing happened. I followed him in, booties over my shoes, and holy shit. The living room looked like a tornado of rage had ripped through it. Furniture flipped, walls covered in scratches that formed words in languages I didn't recognize. There was this black ooze, thick, tar-like stuff splattered across the ceiling in patterns that almost looked like faces if you stared too long. And the crosses everywhere. The family must have nailed them up like they were boarding up for a hurricane. I got to work, scrubbed the floors with this industrial cleaner Frank mixed himself. It smelled like it could strip paint and souls. The black stuff didn't come up easy. It fought me, clinging like it was alive, stretching in strings when I pulled. Under the black light, it glowed this sickly green, and I swear I saw things moving in it. Tiny shapes like maggots with human eyes. I blinked and they were gone. I told myself it was the fumes. Frank was in the kid's bedroom bagging up stained sheets and a teddy bear that had bite marks, deep ones. He said the kid bit his own toy during the fits. Said it happens all the time. We finished in 4 hours. House looked normal again, minus the faint smell. The family would probably blame it on the fumigation service we were supposedly running. Frank paid me another stack on the spot. He told me, good hustle. Next one's tomorrow. I went home buzzing. Easy money, right? Creepy as hell, but I could handle it. The jobs started blending together after a while, but each one cranked the weird up a notch. Second one was an old apartment building downtown. Tenant had been possessed by something that made him eat the drywall. The walls were gouged out in long, deliberate furrows, like claws had raked through. In the corners, there were nests of hair, human hair, woven into these little dolls with button eyes that followed you. I swear they did. Frank laughed when I pointed it out. He said it was just residuals. The things leave pieces of themselves. Burn 'em or bag 'em. Don't look too close, he said. I didn't listen. I picked one up, and for a split second, I felt this cold whisper in my ear. Stay. I dropped it like it was on fire. After that, I wore earplugs under the hood most of the time. We hit a farmhouse out in the sticks next. This one was bad. The exorcism had gone long, days from the look of it. The barn out back had been the containment spot. Inside it was a slaughterhouse of symbols. Salt circles broken, holy water stains everywhere, turning the dirt to mud. The air felt heavier there, like the walls were still holding their breath. Shadows in the corners seemed thicker, shifting just a little when your eyes moved away. You could almost hear faint scratching from inside the hay bales, like something was still trying to dig its way out. Frank moved carefully, muttering under his breath. He warned me that stuff lingers in places like this. Cleaning that barn took all night. I hosed residue off the walls while Frank chanted something under his breath. Latin, I think, but twisted. Every time I thought I was done, I'd find another smear in a place I'd already scrubbed, like it was moving behind me. I started humming loud to drown out the quiet, the kind of quiet that presses on your eardrums and makes you wonder what's listening back. By the end of week 1, I'd seen enough to fill a nightmare scrapbook, levitating furniture residue, scuff marks on ceilings, vomit that smelled like flowers and decay, scratches that spelled out names, my name once, on a mirror in a kid's bathroom. I smashed it before Frank saw. He noticed I was getting jumpy anyway. Over cheap diner coffee at 4 a.m., he told me most guys quit by now. He said I had steel in me, but some jobs the priest doesn't get it all. He said that's when it gets really interesting. Interesting? That's one word for it, I thought. The first time something followed me home was after a motel job. Truck driver possessed on a long haul. Room 13 looked like a war zone. Bed torn to shreds. Bible pages glued to the walls with God knows what. I was mopping the bathroom when I heard laughter from the drain. Low, wet laughter. I ignored it, finished up, and went back to my truck. That night in my apartment, the laughter came from my sink. I poured bleach down it and slept with the lights on. I woke up to find my fridge open, food arranged in a smiley face with my leftover Chinese. The noodles spelled hi. I called Frank immediately. He showed up at dawn with sage and a shotgun loaded with rock salt. He told me I was marked now. He said it happens to the good ones. We'd fix it. He did some ritual in my kitchen that smelled like burnt hair. The laughter stopped, but from then on I felt eyes on me. constantly. Then came the old theater downtown, one of those grand decaying places they were trying to restore for ghost tours. The entity had hit during a midnight rehearsal of some edgy play about demons. By the time the priests finished, the stage looked like a massacre in velvet and fake blood. Red curtains hung in tatters, torn by hands that left prints too big for any actor. Seats in the audience were ripped open, stuffing pulled out and braided into ropes that dangled from the catwalks like nooses. Frank handed me the industrial sprayer. He told me to focus on the balcony. That's where it tried to jump, he said. I climbed up there with my black light and nearly lost my lunch. The floor was sticky with that ooze, but shaped like footprints. Bare feet with extra toes. And the mirrors in the dressing rooms backstage, they didn't reflect me right. I'd move, but the reflection lagged half a second, smiling when I wasn't. I smashed every one I could reach. The sound echoed like applause. While I worked, the old pipe organ in the orchestra pit started groaning out notes. Not a song, just single tones that vibrated in my chest like a second heartbeat. Frank yelled up that I should ignore it. It was just fishing, he said. But I swear one of the notes spelled my name in Morse code. I scrubbed faster, humming louder until my throat hurt. We finished as the sun came up. On the way out, I glanced back at the marquee. For a second, the burned out bulbs flickered and spelled, "Come back soon," before dying again. Frank just grunted and lit a cigarette. He said they always want encores. The jobs kept coming after that. A church basement where the thing had possessed the organ, making it play backward hymns at full volume during the rite. We scraped sheet music off the pipes that wasn't written by human hands. Notes that hurt to look at, like optical illusions in ink. Then we did a rich family's mansion. Their teenage daughter had invited something in with a Ouija board at a sleepover. The exorcism involved 3 priests and a lot of screaming. When we got there, the pool was full of floating rosaries, all sunk in the shape of a hand reaching up. The girl's bedroom had drawings on every surface, hundreds of eyes, all open, all watching the door. I covered them with paint while Frank bagged the girl's diary. Pages and pages of her writing in a language that made my teeth ache. He said she'd be okay, but his voice was flat. We both knew some of them weren't. I started dreaming about the jobs. In the dreams, I was the one tied to the bed, priests circling me, and Frank in the corner with his cleanup bag, waiting for me to break. I'd wake up sweating, check the mirrors, make sure nothing was moving in them. Fast forward a couple months. I was in deeper now, almost addicted to the adrenaline. The pay was good, and weirdly, it felt like I was doing something. I was helping families move on, even if it was just erasing the stains. Frank started trusting me with solo prep work. I'd go in first, assess the mess, take photos for his records. That's when I met the real bad ones. There was this police station gig. Yeah, actual cops called us in. One of their own had cracked during a night shift, claiming something crawled out of a suspect's confession tape. The holding cells were a nightmare. bars bent outward, interrogation rooms splattered with coffee, blood, and those familiar black streaks that formed maps of places that didn't exist on any globe. I worked the evidence room mostly. Shelves of bagged items from the exorcism, handcuffs fused together, a body cam that kept replaying the officer's screams on loop no matter how many times I killed the battery. Frank stood watch at the door. He said this one was government adjacent. It meant bigger cleanup fees, but they watch us closer. One of the tapes started playing without power. A voice on it, calm, almost friendly. It listed my social security number, my truck's license plate, and the exact date my sister died. I yanked the cord out of the wall. The voice kept going from inside the plastic casing. Frank had to smash it with his boot. That night back in the van, he looked at me differently. He told me I was hearing them clearer now. The marks settling in means I'm either going to be great at this or it's going to eat me. I almost quit right there, but the money, and Frank said if I bailed now, the mark on me would get permanent. He told me to finish the contract, 6 months, then I'd be out clean. I believed him, but I shouldn't have. The last job was supposed to be routine. Abandoned farmhouse way out in the cornfields, hours from anywhere. The previous owners had tried to sell years ago but couldn't. New buyers wanted it blessed and cleaned before moving in. The priest had come and gone the day before. Frank gave me the keys and said he'd meet me there after another call. He told me to handle the prelim. Should be light, he said. I drove out alone as the sun dipped low, painting the fields blood red. The house loomed at the end of a long gravel drive, windows like empty sockets. No birds, no wind, just silence and corn rustling like it was whispering secrets. Inside, it was worse than anything I'd seen. The air was thick, like breathing soup. Every room had been the battlefield. The floors warped like something had pushed up from below. Walls covered in layers of writing, English, Latin, and stuff that looked like it predated both. The kitchen table was split down the middle, and in the crack grew this black mold that pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. I started in the basement because Frank always said clear the source first. The stairs creaked like they were in pain. Down there, it was a crypt. Candles melted into puddles, a circle of salt broken in a perfect star pattern. And in the center, a chair bolted to the floor with restraints hanging loose. The wood was gouged deep, like fingernails had dug in for hours. That's when I heard the first real voice. Not a whisper, clear, right behind me. You clean up their mess, but who cleans up yours, it said. I spun around. Nothing there, just dust motes in my flashlight beam. My heart racing, I told myself it was just the house. I kept working, bagging ritual items, scrubbing sigils, but the voice kept coming, telling me things, stuff no one should know. About my sister who OD'd when I was 19, how I found her, how I didn't call for help fast enough. You left her there, it said, sounding like her now, just like you'll leave them. I worked faster, sweat pouring. Upstairs, doors started slamming on their own. I heard footsteps pacing the second floor, heavy, dragging. I called Frank. No signal, of course. I went up to check the bedrooms. Big mistake. The master had a 4-poster bed, canopy torn to shreds. On the mattress was a body-shaped imprint filled with that black ooze. It moved, slowly, like it was breathing. I backed out and the door slammed shut behind me, locking. Panic set in. I kicked it, shouldered it. Nothing. The voice was everywhere now, layering, multiple tones overlapping. We've been watching you clean. All those little pieces you bagged, they don't go away. They come to us, it said. The windows in the room started cracking, frost patterns spreading inward, forming faces. My face, Frank's, the kid from the first job. All of us screaming silently. I grabbed a chair and smashed the window. The glass exploded outward, but instead of falling, the shards hung in the air, spinning, then shot back at me. I dove, feeling cuts across my arms. Blood hit the floor and the ooze on the bed surged toward it like a magnet. That's when Frank's van pulled up outside. I heard him yelling my name. Relief flooded over me. I screamed back, voice raw. He busted through the front door downstairs. I could hear his boots. He told me to stay put. He was coming. But the voice laughed. He always says that. The dragging footsteps from earlier started down the hall toward me. Slow, deliberate footsteps. I backed into the corner, grabbing a loose bedpost like a club. The door to the room, it wasn't locked anymore. It creaked open on its own. Frank stood there, but he didn't look right. His eyes were too wide, pupils dilated into full black. That grin, Frank never grinned like that. He said the job was done downstairs. He said it was my turn now. I swung the bedpost and connected with his shoulder. He didn't flinch, just grabbed my arm, grip like iron. His skin was ice cold. He whispered that I thought this was cleanup. This is collection, he said. Every exorcism leaves a hole. We fill it with you cleaners. You see too much. You carry too much, he said. I fought, but he was stronger. He dragged me toward the bed. The ooze rose up, tendrils wrapping my legs. It burned like dry ice, pulling me down into the mattress. I could feel it seeping into my skin, whispering every bad thing I'd ever done, every fear, every secret. Frank, or whatever was wearing him, leaned close to me. He told me the priests think they win, but the real work starts after, and I was good at it, the best he'd recruited in years. I blacked out fighting, woke up in my truck at dawn, parked outside my apartment. No cuts, no blood, just a new tattoo on my forearm. A sigil like the ones I'd scrubbed off 100 walls. It itched like fire. Frank was gone. The farmhouse job paid double in my account. Anonymous transfer. I tried calling him. Number disconnected. I drove back to the warehouse. It was empty. For sale sign out front. I quit the life, or tried to at least, but the dreams got worse. Sometimes on jobs I'd imagine taking, I hear that voice offering me a promotion. Come back. We have a position opening. Head cleaner. Last week I heard my sink laughing again. This time it sounded like me. I stood there in the dark, the sigil on my arm burning, and realized I wasn't reaching for the bleach anymore. Part of me was smiling back. So that's why I'm telling you this now. If you ever see that ad pop up late at night, ignore it. Whatever you do, don't call. Because once you do, it doesn't matter how careful you are. The stuff you scrub away doesn't disappear. It just waits. It learns your name. It learns your fears. And eventually it starts wearing your face when no one's looking. I still check my reflection every morning. Most days it looks like me, but sometimes it smiles just a second too late. And I know the next time that phone rings at 3 a.m., I won't be answering as the cleaner. I'll be the one leaving the mess for whoever comes after me.